welcome back to Witch Daily's Halloween Countdown. We are having 31 days of witchiness, getting you ready for the Samhain season. Today, we are going to talk about something called the Great Rite. Now, you may have seen this in books before, you may have heard people talk about it before. It is what you think it is. It is symbolic sex. So don't be freaked out when I talk about it that way. And basically, the purpose of the Great Rite when you're doing any kind of magic is to symbolize that creative power that happens when people have sex. The creative power that comes from the merging of body and soul. It's in that form that creation is possible, whether you're talking about flowers or you're talking about people or animals. It's from that union that creation is made, that life is made. And so when we are doing a ritual or magic that you really want to have that creative oomph behind it, you almost always do something called the Great Rite. Now, this is much more prevalent if you're doing magic in a ritual. So if you're doing magic, if you're doing a magic spell and you're just in your house or in your temple room or in your backyard, you don't have to include the Great Rite. You can if you want to, but it is certainly almost always used in any kind of magical ritual, whether that's by yourself or with someone else. And the reason is because you are pulling together all of the will and we're going to have a whole other discussion about will in another lecture. When you start talking about will, you're talking about the will that is greater than the individual ego. So what you want to do is you want to find any way possible to symbolize that will becoming more than itself. So the Great Rite is a way to embody that, if you will. It's a symbolic gesture that shows that you are committed to the creation of the thing that you are coming up with. And it's actually quite simple. You say a very simple invocation, if you will, and it has 3 components. Doesn't need the third one, but is preferred. I'll explain in a second. So the first component is the blade. This is, if you are a practicing witch, you know that this is called an athame. Some people call it an athame. Either one is correct. What it is not is an athame. So athame, athame, I call it an athame. This is a traditional one. It's got 2 sides to it, two sharp edges on it. And the other thing that makes it traditional is this black handle. So you want to make sure that you are using that properly. It doesn't have to have a black handle. This is a British traditional Wiccan athame. This is another version of the athame. This is a smaller one that I take when I'm traveling to eclectic events and things like that. And you can see it still has the 2 sharp sides, but it is lacking the black handle and the inscriptions in it, the symbols in there. So what you're going to do when you are performing the Great Rite symbolically in your ritual is you're going to hold the athame with 2 hands. I'm trying to do it and not block my face, but I don't know that I can. When you're doing this in circle, you would actually hold it up almost to your face, but I want you to be able to see it. So you're going to hold it with 2 hands, and you're going to join it into the glass. Now, here's my chalice, and what you can't, I don't know if you can see that, is there's red wine in there. Now the red wine symbolizes the goddess. The chalice symbolizes the goddess. The blade represents the masculine or the god. And what you're doing when you do the Great Rite, now, normally I would not be holding the cup. I'd have it on the altar, and I'd have both hands on the athame. But you bring them together, like so, and you have a invocation, if you will, that you would say silently. You can write it yourself, or you can borrow one from me. And usually it just is something simple like, as male is to female and female to male, so brings creation forth. So mote it be. That's it. And you'll notice most witches kiss their athames when they're using them. That's traditional. I have a lot of lipstick on, so I want to make sure I don't get too much lipstick on my ritual knife. So that's basically it. You always want to have the option of performing the Great Rite in your ritual. You don't want to find yourself wanting to like add a little extra magical power and not have the tools you need. I will tell you that the wine is preferred, but it's not required. So if you don't drink alcohol, you can substitute juice. You can also do the Great Rite with nothing in the chalice. But it is preferred to have something representing the blood, if you will, of the mother that feeds the womb. So that's basically the Great Rite. Now, you may have heard that, witches can sometimes do the Great Rite non-symbolically. And I will tell you that is true, but it is almost always done between a single couple who is doing something in private for their own well-being. So don't think there's got to be a bunch of running around doing the Great Rite in front of people, because no, that's just kind of nasty. But anyway, a little ahead of myself. So that's the Great Rite. Use it in your magic. Especially if you have an important thing where you need something to be created for you, or you need an opening, that's a really powerful way of getting that magic to come through in earnest. So now you have another tool in your little witchy belt, and I hope you are having a wonderful Samhain season. Hope you're enjoying these videos. And I want to remind you that if you have signed up after October 1st, then there's actually, or if you signed up on YouTube, there's actually newsletters that come with each of these videos. And so you can go to our site at Witch Daily and get those newsletters as well. So just go to the Halloween countdown page and you'll see there's a link for each day, the video and the newsletter. So, but you can get them in your inbox if you just sign up, and then you can check all the ones in the back. So have a wonderful witchy day, and we're getting closer to Samhain, so hopefully you're getting witchier and really enjoying this Samhain season. Have a witchy day.